Will India stop buying Russian crude? Before answering that question, let's take a quick look at some numbers here and why this question comes up at all in the first place. The US president mentioned that he would substantially increase tariffs on India due to its large Russian crude imports. India has been importing a large quantity of crude and related products from Russia as it makes sense from a costing point of view. How much does India import from Russia? India imported around 1.7 million barrels per day in FY24 and slightly higher in FY25 at 1.8 million barrels per day. Now, this is worth roughly around $50 billion. India continues to import in the range of 1.7 to 1.8 million barrels per day of crude from Russia so far. Why even import from Russia? Remember that over the last few years, India has been importing Russian crude at a discounted price. In early 2023, the discount even touched as high as $30 a barrel. While these discounts have greatly narrowed over time, India still receives a net discount of around $3 to $4 a barrel on Russian crude imports and therefore lands up saving around $2 to $2.6 billion per year. This net saving is then enjoyed by Indian refineries and helps them increase their gross margins. India has sensed this subtle pressure from the United States, and from the start of 2025, India has also been significantly ramping up its crude oil imports from the US. And Jan to June 2025, roughly H1 2025 data, tells us that India has imported from the US 0.271 million barrels per day, up from 0.18 million barrels per day. This is an increase of 51% year on year for the same period. India is also reported to be planning for an increase in its purchases of LPG and LNG from the US, and it's working towards a long-term LNG supply agreement with the US, according to media reports. Now, these are the numbers. Can India stop buying crude altogether? Remember, India's purchases of crude from Russia are perfectly legitimate in nature. However, if the US were to sanction Russian oil, analysts feel that if the US sanctions Russian crude, India could sharply reduce its Russian imports due to higher costs.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.